Hi guys and gals, this is Rachel Kirkland, the Modern Shaman, and welcome to question and answer time. Ooh, I'm like moving this mic around. My little mic. I don't like wearing it because I get like icky about having this wire attached to me. But anyways, welcome to question and answer time with the Modern Shaman. Thanks for being here. I am basically just going to read a question and then answer it from my heart, from my kind of centered in spirit. If you are new to me, I will let you know you are always invited to join us on my weekly live stream events on Facebook. And we do this, but it's more of a back and forth dialogue, live, obviously. And then also when, if you're interested in kind of meeting with me or sitting with me, having a session with me, I do one-on-one sessions. And all of that info is on my website. I also travel and do a lot of speaking events. So if you're interested in that, if you don't live in my area and you're kind of still wanting to get connected, look on my page and look at the events and connect. Okay, there's my spiel. Let's do this. Here's the question. I had to pull it up from Messenger. Okay. This is a little bit of a long one. I'm going to read it. So it says, Hi Rachel, I have a question for your YouTube channel. I'd be most grateful if you have time to answer it. Awesome. I saw many things as a child. UFO, shadow people. One in particular that sticks out so much is when I saw a shaman performing a ceremony in front of my eyes as I was wide awake. I felt scared because I did not understand it, and my mother was very religious. She made me feel as though it was something bad I had just seen. Now I've done some searching, and dreams are coming back. The shaman I saw in my room as a child is one of my guides. Awesome. I love that you know that and recognize that. I feel so much love for my guides, but I feel this fear to see again, and I want to once again open up, but the fear is so palpable. What do you recommend would be a good way to release that fear? I've received my Reiki 1 attunement and I've never felt better. Awesome. But I can still feel some resistance in me, a block from having clearer contact with my guides. Okay, so kind of the question of like, what can I do to release this sense of like palpable fear and help unblock that communication with your guides? Okay, so I do have a video on fear. I did it a while back, maybe like a year ago, and I'm not sure that it's really connected to this. It may just be fear in general, but you might want to check that out. Okay, let me center into this one. Okay, first let me just say I love this because even though this is a singular experience, obviously, for her, this is also like a cumulative experience. I feel like so many people, when they're young and they have experiences with spirit or non-physical form, and their cognitive development is not at a level to really assess or understand, it gets put in weird places. You know what I mean? Like either we put it in our subconscious and we never open that box again, or it goes into this little fear space because of kind of the culture or religious upbringing that we've had, or our own just fear or not understanding it. And we don't even notice that like that was a divine angel, or that was a guide, or that was my grandmother just coming in to say hi. It's not always like a negative energy, but when we're younger, we tend to, for some reason, I think because when we feel that energy and there's a sense of just non-physical form being there, for some reason, we don't let ourselves feel enough of the love energy that comes in. Some people do, but a lot of times we automatically go to fear and it's like we shut the door, you know what I mean? And then when we get older, we're like, how in the heck do I open that door again? Because now I realize it's nothing to be scared of. Now I realized, you know, this is a communication I actually want to have with my guides and have a form of, you know, clairvoyance, being able to see them again. So I love it. I love that you asked that because I think it's relevant for a lot of people. Okay, and let me tune in and see what Spirit has to say. Let's go practical, right? You know me, I'm all about practical. I'm all about like Don't give me the book answer. Like, how do you actually do it in my life? Okay, so let me do this. Let me just tune in. Okay, so Spirit's just drawing my attention to the multiple layers of this. There is a layer, okay, and if you're familiar with the auric body or, you know, your etheric body, emotional body, there are layers that store these things, okay? So there are layers to your healing, and that's probably why you still feel like there's a little bit of resistance or some residue that's not quite clear, and you intuitively feel that, because the first layer is kind of that energetic layer where we're holding things energetically, and it sounds like the Reiki attunement cleared that for you and got things way better and opened up. And so that would be like step one, would be, you know, to see a shaman, a psychic, an energy healer, a Reiki master, somebody that can clear those energetic blockages that you store in your energy body, or an acupuncturist. I've had huge like breakthroughs with stored energy through acupuncture. For some reason, for me, it's like transformative, and I always have like out of body experiences, and when I'm on the table, and it clears up a lot of stuff for me. It's basically like just moving chi, but using obviously those stainless steel needles. It's like static electricity. It pulls out stuff. So there's that dealing with it on an energetic level, which I feel like you've done. Then there's also setting up, again, getting practical, like setting up guidelines and structures for yourself to feel safe to go and open that door. Okay, I talk a lot about this, about setting up psychic guidelines and kind of your rules and regulations for your classroom of life. Okay, if you don't have those set up, it can be scary to kind of like let in entities or energies that are non-physical if you're not sure like how they're going to interact with you or how it's going to be, and there's a sense of out of control. Okay, so if you have yet to do that, sit down and do that. Okay, and it's very intentional. Like, sit down with a piece of paper and say, this is what I'm comfortable with, this is what I'm not comfortable with. These are my rules and regulations for dealing with me in the spirit realm. Okay, and I use the example all the time of the classroom, right? The like junior high classroom or the substitute classroom that like never had any rules, and everybody just was like, let's just go crazy, you know, it's video time all the time, and you know, no rules. It was just like, you're just wreaking havoc in those classrooms. If that is your life spiritually and you have yet to set any rules, a lot of times you can feel overwhelmed. You can feel like all this emotion is too much emotion, or you know, these spirits feel overwhelming, or just all of that. So sit down, and we want the very organized classroom. We want the teacher that comes in and says, this is the way I do things. This is where you turn your papers in. We talk one at a time. You raise your hand when you want to speak to me. You know what I mean? You set those up. And I say that, you know, in jest, but also very clearly. Like, I have those rules, and I've set that up with spirit too. I don't, a lot of times mediums will let in any entity, and they'll sit with a client, and they'll and a client will say, well, just whoever wants to talk to me, whoever comes in, if anybody comes in to visit, you know, you can share that with me. And I do not do that. I tell my clients, no, I invite them in. I don't just say like anybody can come in. That's one of my rules, is like they don't come in unless I invite them in. So I call them in one by one by name for myself. But that's a rule for me, because otherwise I can get overwhelmed in seeing all of these spirits and get distracted and can't focus on you because I'm seeing all these other, you know, spirits. Also, a very common and safe rule and regulation that people often start with is that they don't want any energies interacting with them that are lower than their native vibration. So entities that come in and communicate with them can only be of their vibrational state or higher. Okay? Or sometimes you can get really specific. I only want to hear from my guides, angelic entities, and those that are loved ones on the other side. Okay, I've shared before too that you mentioned UFOs, but at the beginning when I started having galactic contact, I was not comfortable with it, and I knew like if I saw some little alien, it would freak the crap out of me. So I had this rule that like you could talk to me in my clairaudience and you could have conversations, and I would channel and talk to galactic entities that way, but I didn't want to see them yet. I wasn't ready for them to pop into my clairvoyance or, you know, pop into my bedroom and take me on a ship. Some people, they're like all amped about that and like excited, and that may not be you, but setting up your rules, regulations, things that you're comfortable with is imperative because it gives you a sense of safety, a sense of foundation, control, and an awareness that you are a sovereign being of free will, okay? And they cannot trump your free will. So this is why so often when people are having these really scary spiritual experiences, like feeling possessed or this, you know, these really heavy things, a lot of times they'll call out for the name of Jesus, or they'll call out or do a Hail Mary or do something like that, because essentially they're putting that power, that sovereignty in that entity of Jesus, or in those particular words, or that particular phrase, and they believe so much in that. They hold so much of their free will power in that it is effective for them, and that it breaks up that possession, or it, you know, sends that entity away or whatnot. So standing in your free will with how you want spirit to interact with you, if you haven't already done that, is huge to open this door, okay? Also, if there's little bits of residue, you can unblock these blocks, and things can start to come back to you bit by bit. But you're gonna have to change your habits, okay? I know that's not like a pretty answer, but it's the truth. If your habit is to have fear when you get a vision, or an entity shows up, or, you know, there's an apparition in the room or whatever, if you're used to feeling fear and that's kind of like your native reaction, you're just going to have to reprogram your reaction. You're going to have to reprogram yourself and go through a time of standing in your power and feeling what that feels like to stand in your power. Okay? Remember, like I said just a second ago, you are a sovereign being. So in those moments, once you've set up that sense of control, and even seeing this video and having this awareness that like you have total control in those situations. If there is a sense of powerlessness, it's because you're giving it a sense of you're essentially assigning power to something else, but you are the one assigning that power. So in those moments of kind of breaking down this fear, whatever those little moments are, and they're going to be unique to you, when they come up, if you stand in your power each time, you just stand in your power a little more, a little more, a little more. And by standing in your power, it may just be saying like, I have a rule, you need to talk to me one at a time, or you need to introduce yourself before you show up in some figure, or whatever it may be to you that is standing in your power, that's saying, this is the way I do things, and you need to do them this way, or you're not welcome. Okay? And you can also bring in an energy of like trying something new. That dissipates some of the fear because it's light. It's a light energy, and I mean literally like there's etheric lightness to it, air energy, but there's also bright, like an energy of excitement, and that is a higher vibrational light just in terms of frequency. So bringing that in will help dissipate and kind of break up that heavier, denser energy of fear that you're feeling. So having a sense of like, let's try something new. Like, let's open this door. Let's have this sense of communication with my guide. Let's like sit down and write out this dialogue. Like, let's play. Let's do it. I'm open. A sense of fun energy of trying something new. Again, you can set your boundaries first so you feel safe in that space, but those are different ways to break it up. Okay, let me go through those step by step. Let me try to recount. First one would be like deal with it on an energetic level. Like get some sort of energy healing, acupuncture, shamanic healing, Reiki attunement, whatever you want to call it. Deal with it energetically where you store it on your body. Okay, somebody who can see energy like that. And they'll probably see it like a big blob. To me, fear is usually like black, smoky looking energy. But sometimes it's been there so long it's like calcified. And I mean, that's just how I see it. But anyways, that's one way. Okay, step one, deal with it on the energetic level. Step two is to set up those guidelines. Give yourself a sense of safety, a safety net, a sense of like, this is what I'm comfortable with. And so this is, you know, it's standing in your sovereign power of free will, stating how you want it to go down. Okay. And then that third one is the practical day-to-day, like changing of the habits. Like when those things come up, standing in your power, okay, which may look different in different times. Like maybe it's you're walking down the hallway and you have this feeling like there's an entity there. There's a spirit there. That's a very common experience. And as a child, or maybe your tendency would be to walk really fast and never look back. But standing in your power and trying to break that habit would be turning around and saying, I need you to introduce yourself to me. Who are you? Okay, or something like that. Standing in your power. Yes. Okay. And then that last one, which is kind of still standing in your power, would be to bring in that energy of like trying something new, bringing in the light into that experience to dissipate the fear of like, this is exciting. I know I'm safe. I know I'm covered by my angels and my guides. So now let's grow. I've got the safety net to grow and to add that energy in there. Okay? Awesome. And good luck to you. I just love this. I love this. This is where we are going in life with humanity. And you know my heart, this is my heart, like helping people empower those connections within themselves. So, awesome. You're doing awesome.